What's up guys, you're watching JayzTwoCents and I'm bringing you what is going to be the last review of 2013. What we've got right here is one of Fractal's biggest cases that they make, the Fractal Design Arc XL. And man, is this thing extra large, just like me. Fractal Design is one of those companies that I really have liked this year. They've made a huge presence in the gaming and computer building industry this year, and they've really come to the market with something I feel is unique, whereas a lot of case manufacturers over the past have really kind of gone flashy, blinging lights everywhere, crazy designs all over the case, funky window designs, and just a lot of it looks really gaudy and just ugly. But Fractal Design has really looked at the approach of less is more when it comes to aesthetics. So the design of their cases really seems simple on the outside, but they've put a lot of effort into what goes inside the case. Now the XL has a lot of compatibility in it. In fact, rather than talk about what's on the box, I'm just going to go ahead and open this thing up and we'll get right into it. I don't care a whole lot about talking about the box because who cares? Now this thing's going to look a lot like the rest of the Arc series, obviously the Arc MIDI, the Arc Mini, and this just takes those cases and just stretches the crap out of them so that you can fit in all kinds of components if you're building yourself a custom water loop or going full-on gaming, or maybe you're just overcompensating. I don't know. Who am I to judge? That's up to you, design, to decide if you're overcompensating. I've got a 900D, right? Let's not go there. Now, in danger of knocking this thing completely off the table. Ugh. I think I just broke my closet. That's okay. I don't keep anything important in there anyway, except the closet monster. Now, the foam that they pack this in is pretty brittle, so I wouldn't go, see it just kind of broke right apart there. I wouldn't go shipping a system in this. I would certainly repack it with computer type packing material. So, all right, here it is in all its glory. And this thing is pretty big. I mean, this is certainly a full tower. Now, a lot like the Arc Mini and the Arc MIDI, you've got the same style window here with your protective film on there. And it is smoked out, which looks pretty damn awesome. Now, the features that are on this case are very similar to the other cases that we've already looked at. So rather than go individually over each feature on this, I'm going to talk about some of the main features, and then we'll talk about what you could fit in this case. Now on the top, it's a lot like the other cases where you have a completely removable top screen here that has nice soft filter in there for dust filtering the entire top. Now you have some interesting stuff going on here when it comes to the top of the case. Now you have 2 times 140 millimeter compatibility, and you have 3 times 120 millimeter compatibility here on the top. Now what makes it interesting is the 140s are offset, and you can see they've already included one 140 millimeter fluid bearing fan in there. But if you want to do a triple rad, it is in the center. But it looks like there's plenty of depth here to where you won't have any interference with your motherboard, which is like on the Arc Mini where they offset that way you can go with a full-size radiator and push-pull and not have any issues. So they've done that here with the 140. If you want to put a dual 140 millimeter rad in there with push-pull fans, there's more than enough room for it. On the top here you have your 5, 7, and 12 volt fan controller that is built in. Your reset power button there. You have your microphone and headphone output and input, 2 USB 3.0, 2 USB 2.0. Now moving around to the front of the case, you've got your same faux brushed finish. It looks a lot like it's brushed finish, but it's just plastic. I think it looks good. It keeps costs down, but giving you a nice design to take a look at on there. We're going to take the front panel off on this bad boy and expose the guts of this case. Now it is a steel construction, so the case does have a little bit of heft to it, but I think that's good because I don't like flimsy cases, that are real thin stamped steel with plastic on there. This is really rigid. I mean, it is riveted together. There's very little on here that's actually screwed together, so it's going to be harder to take apart and mod. Shouldn't stop any hardcore modders. But look at the inside here. You've got your hardware, two times 4 hard drive cages here. So you have a total of 8 hard drives you can mount there. You've got what looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/4 expansion bays. Plenty of grommets here to get all your wiring through. Again, all black sleeved wiring. Exactly what you come to expect from Fractal Design. Sleeved wiring here on the fan. And it does look like you have one 140 millimeter in the front, one exhaust on the back, and one exhaust on the top that's included. But plenty of expandability. I mean, you can fit another 140 in the front, and you can fit all those fans in the top that we've already talked about. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the back of the case, and let's see what comes in there. They've been pretty good about supplying SSD mounts. That way you don't have to use up hard drive cages to mount your SSDs. And this case is absolutely no exception. As you can see right here, you have 2 SSD mounts. So you can put your SSDs right there. They're a little offset, but who cares? They're in the back. You're not going to really see them anyway. You've got all black cable sleeving, which we've already mentioned, and they're already twist tied to the back of the case to give you an idea of cable routing. But you've got a lot of little cable ties on here to give you adequate places to mount your cables to, so you can have really organized cable management. Now, looking at the bottom of the case, you can see you do have a full-length filter for your power supply, and you do have a 120 and a 140 millimeter fan mount on the bottom. So you can put a bottom rad in there, or a bottom fan, which I don't recommend bottom fans personally, but that's just me. But what you can also do is you can remove the hard drive cage right here in the front, and you can put a 120 millimeter fan, or excuse me, a 120 millimeter rad in the front, a 240 rad in the front. It may or may not natively support 2 times 140. We'll check that out. What we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and stick some radiators in here and see just how well they fit, to give you an idea of how crammed it gets once you start filling this thing up with some water cooling components. Putting water cooling in this case was extremely easy. There's really no other way to say it. I mean, take a look inside this case right here. Do you see how open and expanded this is? Inside this case right now, I have a triple rad on the top, a triple Alpha Cool radiator on top with 3 fans. I have a dual 120 millimeter fan in the front with fans on there. I have the light tower with the pump and the reservoir attached to it. And look at all this space that you still have in here. This took probably 20 minutes to put together, and I'd say half that was finding the screws for the radiators and fans, because I have so much crap I couldn't find it. So one thing I forgot to show in the beginning of the video is the front filter and how easily it makes accessing the front fans. I mean, as you can see right there, we've got the Alpha Cool E-loop fans in there, and I mean, look at, there's the top with the triple rad and the 3 fans in there. I mean, look at this. Do you see? And the pump is flopping around. It's not actually mounted down. But look at the amount of space we have in this build here. We could have put a taller res in there if we wanted. We could have gone push-pull on all of this and still had plenty of room. I mean, you can see the amount of space you have here before you even get near the bottom of the rad, because the fans are up on the top. The 140 in the back doesn't come anywhere near the radiator. I can stick my whole hand in between the radiator and the... Go ahead and get in close. I want people to see this, the amount of space that there is in this thing. I mean, look at this. Do you see the upper rad right here? Do you see the amount of space you have in the back of this radiator here? Look at the front right here. There are fans on the front of that because the case has an indented spot for the fans to mount in the front, giving you plenty of room for a radiator here and to go push-pull, or even go as thick as an 80 millimeter radiator if you want, and still have room to use your hard drive cage, and you still have room right here for a full-size power supply, even a modular one. Now, you have to be mindful of the depth of that if you go with like a 1200 watt PSU or something, but everything in this is just so well thought out, and everything is so easy to build in this case. Fractal Design, I kind of hate you, and I want to tell you why. I'm an old school modder, and you've really taken a lot of the fun out of making this stuff fit in these cases where you have to get creative with it and start cutting and dremeling and welding or making panels just to make everything fit. And look at that, everything's in here, and it looks as if it was native and all came with the case to begin with. Fractal Design, you're taking all the fun, or should I say the headache, out of coming up with custom cooling solutions in a case like this. So guys, this has been the Fractal Design Arc XL, and it certainly lives up to that XL name. Check it out down in the description. Remember guys, we are going to be going to CES in 2 weeks. That's going to be January 6th through the 10th, bringing you just the latest news when it comes to all of your favorite PC companies. And make sure you check that out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of that coverage. Follow me on Twitter because we're going to be doing a lot of tweets and stuff while we're there. And as always, I will see you in my next video.